East playoffs. And actually, this is going to be a little bit updated than whatever we thought we're thinking before. Because as of right now, the Miami Heat lost to Orlando, pushing them back. The Celtics beat the Bucks. Toronto won. All right, so let's go to the conference here. I'll do it this way. As of right now, Cleveland's at the 1, Toronto's at the 2, Atlanta and Boston are tied for the 3 seed, but respectively are 3 and 4. Miami's at the 5th seed, Charlotte is in the 6th seed. Detroit has clinched a playoff spot tonight. Shout out to Beezy. Your boys just got into the 7th seed. We kind of want them in the 8th, though.
Who would they play at the Toronto?
Currently, yes.
That's lit.
The ironic part is the Pistons have clinched a playoff seed, but the Pacers have not because they lost.
Who they lose to?
And the Bulls, Raptors.
Okay.
So as of right now, the Pistons are in the 7th seed, Pacers are the 8th seed. The Wizards have been eliminated from playoff contention, but the Bulls are barely life support right now. The plug is ready to be pulled.
Who, the Pacers?
No, the Bulls.
Man, that's done.
It is done, but it's technically they're not eliminated technically.
Yeah. Right. and John Kasich isn't technically eliminated from the Republican Party, but like we know what's gonna happen there. But
contested anyway. So yeah, as of right now, the Eastern playoffs, as they are probably going to be some of your more interesting round one matchups when you watch the postseason for the NBA. As I said, those are the 8 seeding. So as of right now, it'd be Cavs versus Pacers, Raptors Pistons, Hawks Hornets, Celtics Heat.
All right, just very quickly, because I kind of wanted this pod to go by as fast as possible. I just wanted to quantify for the people, because we're definitely going to talk more about the playoffs in depth. I just wanted to get a feel for who you think one could be upsets, teams that by that I mean teams that upset teams, who you think is going to disappoint, and just any other general thoughts on the positioning right now that could happen. I'll give you my surprise team. Detroit, and not just because BZ gave us a mean ass compliment today. That shit was very, very nice. That shit was very, very nice, man. Appreciate shout out to all the guys at Dennis Force who live this
podcast. Make sure to follow.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow.
Yeah, and the reason why I like Detroit because they have a bunch of scores, man, and teams that have a lot of scores and a team that has a post presence, those are the teams that usually catch my eye in the playoffs, and those are the teams that usually do well in the playoffs because if you have both, then like you're golden, you're completely golden. Because if you have a post presence in Andre Drummond and a rebounding demon in Andre Drummond, and you have scores like KCP, Tobias Harris, Reggie Jackson, Stanley Johnson, even you have all types of scoring. So you have slashing, you have shooting, you have post presence, you have all that. And I think the coaching matchups will come in play. Here's one thing: I think Stan Van Gundy knows how to coach. All right, big shock there, but if he gets the 8th speed, I think not only would it be a big coaching disparity between Lou and Van Gundy, but I think that Van Gundy would take advantage of it and it will be visibly noticeable. We're like, oh man, he has these guys ready to play. And I don't think Cleveland would just mow over them. And I'm going to tell you why. Is Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond can match Tristan Thompson's rebounding. And he can out-rebound him in some instances. And he can outscore anyone who tries to defend him on the post. And I think Reggie Jackson needed this game. I believe he just poured in 39 points, if I'm not mistaken. Huge game from him. And that's going to be huge for his confidence going into the playoffs. That team is only going to go as far, in my opinion, as Reggie and Andre Drummond take them. Everyone else, Like everyone else has a lot going for them in this race in terms of like the playoffs for the eighth seed. But I think the Detroit Pistons not only have the post presence, like I said, to get the job done, but they also have the bench to get the job done versus a Cavaliers team. And I think they would want to lock up the eighth spot because I don't think a team like Toronto is a good matchup for them. I think Toronto has better scores than they do. I think they have just as good inside presence as them. I think they would probably lose in 6 games to Toronto. But if they played Cleveland, I want to get your opinion on this. I think they could push Cleveland to 6 or 7 games.
I agree. The thing I'm gonna highlight more so is gonna be the thing with Detroit, and I believe this happened in one of their in-season matchups. I think Detroit. I may be wrong, but I think they definitely blew Cleveland out one game. Um, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm remembering a different game. But the way they match up with Cleveland, like you said, Drummond is a more dominant force than Tristan Thompson, Mozgov, or anybody they have at center. Tobias Harris, if he can literally, he's one of my X factors. Tobias Harris and also KCP, Caldwell Pope. Um, if those two are able to fulfill their roles on that team, Tobias being that versatile stretch four who can stretch the paint out as well as attack the rim, then that's going to be a big key for them being to stay competitive with Cleveland because their defense interior wise is not fantastic. Um, as well as for KCP, if he's able to hit his threes and get his offense going for that team, that they're a problem because then Reggie Jackson can just keep doing pick and rolls all day long and it just keep them on their toes, honestly, and keep. He could break a couple ankles here and there, honestly. Um, it, I think there's upset potential with Detroit. I know Beasley's trying to be humble and keep things down to a minimum expectation, and it completely makes sense. But I've seen it with the matchup. Cleveland does not have a fun time when they play Detroit. Detroit matches up with them very well, and there's upset potential. And if that happens, the East becomes wide open.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Now, Raptors Pacers, it's it's ah, it could be interesting.
I think I think it will be interesting to see Paul George go up against just the tandem of Lowry and DeRozan.
I mean, sure, it's just
And who do you want to see turn the ball over more? I mean, DeRozan or Monte Ellis? I mean, that's gonna be the matchup to see.
as long as it's if you're a Pacers fan, you don't want it to be Monte Ellis. You do not want that.
And it's going to be interesting to see
Um,
that because not only is Monte Ellis going to be he's going to be relied on heavily, but I think he can handle it. I think he can handle the challenge. I think he could definitely be there. Go to score when Paul George is off or if he's having a cold streak or whatever. And I think the matchup will be Valanciunas, right? I believe he's still on the Raptors. I haven't heard much from that guy this year. I've been very disappointed.
he had his injuries, but he's still
Been
there.
very,
He's
very disappointed by his game this year.
but you still have Damari Carroll. He's back. He played. He's alive.
Yeah, and if he's back, I want to see if he can defend Paul George. That's gonna be funny to see.
Yeah,
It's
really.
crazy because either Damari Carroll is gonna give them another dimension added to that team, or
Right.
he's gonna
Or he's gonna
completely fuck up
completely
that chemistry.
mess it up. Right. Exactly.
And I would bet on the fact that they will probably bring him off the bench. I think they will bring him off the bench, all pun intended, for him to just be that defensive stopper. Because he has very, very, very underrated defense. I don't think people realize that he's a great defender.
Also, the thing to keep in mind would be the coaching there would be shout out to Dakota Schmidt, who a writer at SB Nation for who just released something for Ridiculous Upside. He mentioned this last night on his own Twitter about Dwayne Casey's coaching decisions. Now, I don't know if it was just a matchup, but he was bringing out Lucas Nojera and Norman Powell and doing these weird matchups at the end of the Hawks game the other night, and it was just not making any sense. Like he wasn't rolling out his best players for a crunch time lineup at all, and they lost the game. They could have came back, but it was very odd, and it didn't seem smart. So I think Frank Vogel has an edge on that matchup.
But the thing that's going to be interesting is seeing how Miles Turner plays. That's gonna be the if Miles Turner can get you about 13 points and 8 rebounds a game, I think the Pacers will have a chance to upset.
Yep.
That's basically all I wanted to talk about in terms of the East. But actually, one more thing. Here at my university, a lot of people will be of the assumption that the Cleveland Cavaliers would take out the Miami Heat in 5 games, and I get very pissed off because people tell me I don't watch basketball, and they tell me they tell me you don't know anything what you're talking about. Oh, you're drunk. You're telling me that the Miami would push them to 7 games or possibly win. All I go around school is saying like, yo, do you think Miami would have a chance? And they're like, nah, 5 games. Nah, they'd probably sweep them for real. Because it's Cleveland, man. Cleveland's definitely coming out the East. And then they tell me I don't watch basketball. But just having that opinion tells me that you don't watch basketball if you think that Cleveland is a sure thing to come out the East. That's BS.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right, so you're telling me Dwayne Wade is going to lose to LeBron in 5 games? You really want to put that money on that right there? And they're like, yeah, it's LeBron. I mean, LeBron's all right. Like, I hate that. But
you know what? Those are the people that are so interested in those First Take story. That's why First Take did the story about LeBron's tweets about watching the Western Conference Finals in '96. That's who that story's for.
Yeah, like no one who gives a shit, man. Like I mean, like let me just you see you want to tell us what the color you want to tell us what color LeBron shitted this morning? Like just get out of here, man. But like the thing that pisses me off is the ignorance, because not only do I think that Miami has a great chance of upsetting the Cleveland Cavaliers if they were to meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think they could push them to 7 games and possibly win. And people always ask me, "Oh, well, how?" And people had this assumption that Kyrie Irving is a superstar, and we're gonna get on that very, very, very next.
Oh.
They think Kyrie Irving is a superstar. They think he can score on anybody. But when I bring up the fact that Hassan Whiteside is a defensive force, they think that Kyrie Irving can just go in the lane at Whiteside and score on him.
The only person I've seen do that is Isaiah Thomas.
And even then, I'm almost certain.
It's not.
Like I'm saying, even then, I'm sure that percentage rate is less than 50 in successful shots. I'm pretty sure it's less than 40. But he's probably done it. I'm not saying he hasn't done it. I'm not saying people can't do that. But if you're telling me that you're gonna live with scoring on Hassan Whiteside going into the paint, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Not even LeBron.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Not even LeBron.
Not even LeBron can do that. And I always bring this up, and they're like, "Oh, well, that doesn't make sense because LeBron's in the East." It's like, well, you don't watch basketball because you would know that Miami has no chance. All right, Joe Johnson, if Chris Bosh can play home games, give me D Wade.
If.
By the way, they blew out the Cavaliers with LeBron and Kyrie and Love on the floor without Chris Bosh by, I believe, 30 points. I'm not trying to hear that mess about how Miami can't win. But then they'll throw out the regular season doesn't matter. All right, it doesn't. But a lot of teams, they play certain games like their playoff games. The Spurs certainly gave a damn when the Warriors came to town just 2 weeks ago.
The Celtics gave a damn when they played them in Oracle.
The Celtics act like that was their championship on the line. So I'm not trying to hear that mess about how regular season doesn't matter. For the most part, yeah, about 89%, 90% of the games don't matter. But those 10% of those times where people are looking forward, like this is our audition, this is our scrimmage for the finals or the playoffs. People care about those times. So I'm not trying to hear that mess. Dwayne Wade in 5 games is going out against LeBron. You're out of your mind. That's at least going 6. That is at least going 6. And one of those wins for LeBron will be a buzzer beater because they're not going to they will not sweep Miami and they will not beat them good 5 times. It's going to be close 7 games. And I have the Miami Heat. If I had to pick, I have the Miami Heat beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. I have them beating them by no more than probably 3 points in a game 7. It would be that much of a bloodbath. It would be that much of a fight. It would be a gladiator match, and I will be here for it every time it plays on TV because I love what the Miami Heat are doing, and I want to get your opinion on the fact that they might add Doro Wright, which would be fantastic. I don't know if you heard about that. They're going to add Doro Wright probably, and
This
this
season?
season they're probably going to add him before the playoffs.
Wait, but wouldn't he not be
I
eligible?
believe they can sign him because he was a Euro.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought.
yeah.
Isn't he still with Toronto?
No, Doro Wright? No, he was in China, dude.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking of somebody else. Never mind.
Okay. No, do you remember Doro Wright from the Portland Trailblazers last season? He was number 1, I think. Yeah,
Oh,
him.
okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of somebody
Yeah, he
else.
could either fill that boss role or he could step out for the 3, which is basically the boss role. And I want to get your opinion on Josh Richardson. I think that
Yo,
kid has promise, like, bro, he has promise out the
can we
ass. It's incredible.
can can we call him the Draymond Green of his draft?
I think we could definitely do that.
Not in the same like skill set, but the
Yeah, yeah.
versatility he
I think
has.
we could definitely do that. Just off the surprise factor alone, yeah, it definitely makes sense. And
Like three steals, blocks, dunks, and he's literally doing this all off the bench, but he's contributing. Like I'm pretty sure his plus minus differential is always positive when he
yeah, like
plays
his
on the court.
PR has to be pretty damn good because he's affecting the game very positively. But what I see out of him is just raw athleticism.
Like, dude, he's a difference maker for that bench. Uh, not, I think he's more so than Justice Winslow is right
The
now,
thing is, though,
personally.
Justice to me, you play Justice at 6 minute intervals, and you just watch him lock up. That's all you need right now.
Yeah, because
That's all you need from him.
Richardson, Richardson has more offense to his game than what Justice
I
has right
love
now.
the lineup. I think that the Heat should just play a lineup of give me just Wade at point guard, give me Josh Richardson, Gerald Green, Justice Winslow, give me Whiteside. Just play that lineup.
When you're ahead by
Yeah,
20.
no, give me that lineup when you need just a quick burst of offense because you have Winslow to keep the team from scoring.
So you want stops from him?
Yeah, I want stops and I want fast breaks and I want a person who's capable of shooting 3 and I want someone who's capable of running the floor from bucket to bucket like Whiteside and defending. So you have scorers and you have your 2 defensive cogs who can at times put it in the hole basically. And I'm really impressed by what this team is doing. Joe Johnson, that's incredible. Just that signing was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm just very excited for this playoffs, and I think the teams like Detroit and Miami, and even a team like Charlotte is going to do something very,
To
very
put it
good.
into to put it into perspective, I'm more excited for at least round one East playoffs than I am the West. The only thing in the West I'm looking forward to is if the Jazz play the Warriors and if the Trailblazers play actually whoever the Trailblazers play, whether it's the Thunder or the
I really
Clippers.
wanted the I really wanted the Trailblazers to finish 8th to watch that Warrior series because that's going to be offensive fire.
Oh God, you just
It.
I kind of like him playing the Thunder or the Clippers.
I mean, it's like, can I ask you a question? Just before
Go
we
ahead.
move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Are CJ and Dame the second best 1 and 2 guard combination behind the Warriors?
Offensively, yes.
Wow, that's insane.
It is
That's
insane.
insane.
The stats also back it up. I believe they are the second highest scoring backcourt. If
That's
unless Lowry and DeRozan are top five as well, but I think Portland's backcourt is number two behind uh, Curry
it's
and Thompson.
insane to me
I
because
believe
I feel like John Wall and Bradley Beal should be like number two,
they should be
but they're
better, but
John Wall is carrying that
yeah, but they're
team.
not. Yeah, thing about John Wall is
Another player that we should have gotten the draft, but we ended up getting Evan fucking Turner. Very, very sad. Very, very tragic. Good.
he's a I don't want to say he's one dimensional, but the thing with John Wall, I think they need a new coach number one because I think he has more skill set that he's not utilizing.
Yeah, Randy Shipman, man. He's just not. He's just not getting
He's
the dot done.
he's because John Wall seems kind of like one dimensional right now, and I'm like,
The
there's
thing
no
is,
way this is all
I
there
think the
is.
reason why he seems one dimensional is because they need him to only go to the rack now. They
Because he's going in 3 seconds.
because he has to go. If he does not get to the rack, then no one scores on the Wizards. No one does because they don't respect him if he doesn't go to the rack. So it's not just John; it's the fact that GM is waiting for Kevin Durant to come in and save the day, which I don't think is going to happen right
It's
right
not.
now.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's
I
not.
I I would want it to happen because
It's not.
I would like to see that happen.
I don't think IQ. I think it's really unlikely. You had a better case at the beginning of the season, but now you got the GM
Yeah,
who's staying on for another year. All the fans I know, Wizard fans, are upset at this GM still staying another year.
yeah.
Um, they're not even in the playoffs. The team looks like a mess compared to last year. The defense is bad, and I don't think. And another thing people brought up is sometimes people don't want to come home to play for their home team.
Yeah, true, true. I'm just saying I would like for it to happen.
Sure.
It would be fun to see a small market team like Washington get a player like that. To see that those duels in the playoffs against LeBron and KD, that shit would be awesome.
I mean, it could still.
I mean, it could happen in a team like we all know what the Celtics could happen, but
It could.
I'm not trying to add 27 championships and counting. I don't like. I'm trying to have teams catch up. But if it happened in Boston too, I wouldn't be like, oh fuck this. No, I would just be like, all right, cool. I'll be like, all right.
No, it'd be like let's dethrone
I'm
LeBron.
like, all right, cool.
Speaking of superstars,
Yeah.